beast! Ah!
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Not the Bees, the Nicolas Cage filmography podcast. I am Megs.
And I'm Elizabeth.
And this week we watched 2019's Primal. It stars Nicolas Cage and Famke Janssen. It has only 39% on Rotten Tomatoes. Frank is Nicolas Cage, and he is a poacher. We meet him in the jungle. He's trying to capture a white jaguar and nearly gets eaten. The people of the village that he's been staying in are wary of him, and even the driver that he hired to take him to the ship docks where Frank needs to load all of these animals doesn't want to take him. They say that the white cat is some kind of man-eater, but Frank thinks that the cat is worth maybe $1 million. So he says fuck it and drives himself to the docks instead. While the animals are being loaded onto a boat, Frank is very familiar with this boat. He knows the captain and the engineer. A bunch of black SUVs pull up, and a bunch of special operative guys, a Navy lieutenant and an NSA bureaucrat get out. They have a prisoner with him, played by Kevin Durand. His name is Loeffler. He's being transferred back to the U.S. to stand trial for a litany of crimes in several different countries. Frank demands to know why they can't fly the prisoner. It would be a lot quicker. And he's told the prisoner has some kind of neurological condition that could kill him with the change in pressure. The lieutenant is a doctor, and she's here to keep the prisoner alive. She explains that Loeffler, the prisoner, was captured high in the mountains, so just the altitude change of being at sea level could give him seizures. Everything gets packed into the ship, and they set sail. Loeffler is locked in a cage, and the lieutenant, Dr. Ellen Taylor, says that if Loeffler begins to have a seizure, call on the radio. She'll come running. She'll have it on 24 hours a day. Everything is fine on the ship through one meal. And then the next scene, we're at another meal, and Loeffler pretends to have what looks like a seizure. And the two guys that are guarding him call the doctor. She says to go into the cage with a tongue depressor, keep him from biting his tongue. And when the guy tries to open Loeffler's mouth, Loeffler bites down really, really hard. So then the other guy that's standing outside with the gun has to come in, but he doesn't leave the gun outside. He brings it in with him. And all hell breaks loose. Loeffler kills both of the men, gets out of his restraints, and he runs off. He also sets loose all of the animals that Frank has captured for this trip, which includes several small but vicious monkeys, 2 highly venomous snakes, and of course, the white jaguar. The special ops guys try to keep everyone corralled for safety, but the ship's kitchen crew decide, fuck this, and leave in the lifeboat in secret. They try to get the captain and his son to go with them, but they decide to stay on board. Loeffler spends the rest of his time systematically taking out all the special operative guys. He also takes out the bridge completely and closes off different exits. He also turns the ship off course. He turns it around or something, so no one really knows where they're headed. He also breaks the ship's freshwater system and takes down the bridge, and so there's no water on top of everything. Frank is concerned about his animals, especially the jaguar. This is made even worse when the monkeys kill a person that gets trapped in the kitchen at one point. Frank tries to hunt Loeffler while hunting his illegally trapped animals and is unsuccessful, though he does get Loeffler's navigation chart after a brief scuffle with him. Soon it's down to just the remaining ship's crew, though the captain did get bitten by one of the snakes, and his son, who is 14, stays with him while the doctor tries to help him, but Frank knows he's going to die without any antivenom. The kid tells Frank and Ellen that even though the kitchen staff took the lifeboat, there is an inflatable raft. It's called a slitwick, and it's in one of the rooms in one area of the ship, and Frank decides that he's going to go and get it. But he ends up meeting Loeffler again and gets knocked out and taken prisoner. The ship's engineer does try, I don't know if he was just trying to flag the Coast Guard or if he just assumed that they would see them dead in the water, but he decides to try to get their attention by shutting the ship down completely. Elsewhere, Loeffler has Frank in one of his own cages and is strangling him against the bars of this cage that he's in, and then ends up shooting several of the different exotic birds that Frank has to tell him where this navigation chart is. Then the ship goes completely dark. Loeffler leaves, he goes and he finds the engineer, tells him to turn the ship back on, but the engineer says it'll take a really long time to get it moving again. It's like 45 minutes per diesel engine or some shit like that. His assistant is waiting high up in the rafters on the pipes to jump Loeffler with a wrench, but Loeffler is a crazy trained NSA operative, and he makes very quick work of killing the dude while the engineer runs off. The NSA bureaucrat releases Frank from his cage while Loeffler is in the engine room, and then helps him get the inflatable raft, and the remaining survivors make their way to the deck and put it in the water. Just as it looks like they'll get away, here comes Loeffler shooting. The kid gets separated from the group, and Loeffler takes him hostage, says he'll kill the boy if anyone shoots at him in the raft when he leaves. Frank causes a distraction, and the NSA guy takes that opportunity to shoot the raft so no one can escape, and then runs off. Frank, Ellen, and the engineer retreat to regroup. Frank is going hunting for Loeffler. Ellen says she's coming with him, and Frank says she can be bait. She's not thrilled, but he tells her to trust him. He's no good, but he can hunt. Loeffler ties the kid up, and he calls the Coast Guard, and he pretends to be one of the Special Forces guys, tells him that the prisoner is dead, they suffered heavy casualties, and they need medical. The boat is dead in the water. He asks for food and a chopper. The Coast Guard says they'll be there in about an hour. Loeffler hears a noise and investigates. He finds Ellen and takes her captive. He asks where Frank is, and she says he's right behind him, and he is. He's got an arrow trained on him. But then the NSA guy shows up and holds a gun on Frank. He needs Loeffler alive. Loeffler tells Frank the NSA guy is a bad guy. He can prove it. Shoot him, not me. There's a bit of a standoff for a few minutes, but eventually Frank shoots Loeffler in the shoulder with the arrow, and Loeffler shoots the NSA guy dead, and Frank gets shot in the leg by the NSA guy. Loeffler ties Ellen up with the kid. Frank does find the jaguar in the area where his cages are, and he is able to contain her. Loeffler gets on the walkie-talkie and tells him to come to the engine room. He'll kill Frank, but then Ellen and the kid can live. Frank says come to him and he'll beat Loeffler's ass. He's in the room with the animals. For some reason, Loeffler agrees. On the way out, Loeffler drops the second highly venomous snake on the floor in front of Ellen and the kid. Frank is a fan of using something called curare while hunting. It's a plant extract that is paralytic. And once Loeffler gets to the cage room, he's able to get Loeffler with 2 blow darts. And then they fight. It takes a minute, but eventually the drug starts to take effect, and Frank traps him with a snare trap. So he's now hanging from his feet, and he's paralyzed. And Frank says that he likes that Loeffler will be aware for this next part, and then he releases the white jaguar to eat his face off. Frank makes it back to the engine room with just enough time to rescue Ellen and the kid from the snake, and then the Coast Guard arrives. Frank tells Ellen he's taking the cat to a zoo that has a rare species breeding program. She gives him her number and says maybe he's not such a bad guy. Look her up if he's ever in her city. The captain is still alive and is rushed to the helicopter with his kid, and Frank muses that there's a zoo in Ellen's city. He's worked in zoos before. Maybe he'd like it there. The end. Elizabeth?
Yes.
What did you think of this movie?
Let's be clear here. This is not a good movie.
No, not at all.
However, I fucking love this movie.
It's a lot of fun. It is a lot of fun.
It is so much fun. Everything from the CGI Murder Kitty to...
Oh my god, it is so bad.
It's so bad. It's
the CGI murder monkeys.
It's just... It's a lot. It's a lot.
It's a lot.
But it's one of those bad, good movies. It's so fun. Everybody's having fun with their character. Kevin Durant fucking kills it.
Kimi! Ever since Lost, I can't look at that man and not scream Kimi. He's so good at being an evil fuck, too, isn't he?
Yeah, he really is. Nicolas Cage spends the whole, middle third of this movie drunk. And I think he plays drunk really well.
He does.
And then Durant gets eaten by the CGI Murder Kitty, and it's just it's awesome. This movie is awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, listen, unless you're the kind of person that enjoys films that are almost, it seems like they're bad on purpose, unless you're that kind of person that enjoys shit like that, you probably won't want to watch it. So, I mean, I don't know if we necessarily recommend this movie, but if you do watch it, it is a lot of fun. I feel like there's constant action. There's also the way he takes down the ship is shit that I don't think that we see in other movies. Like, obviously the bridge goes down, right? Like, that's the obvious focal point. That's where all your communication is, all your paperwork, blah, 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 surveillance now. That's where all your cameras are. But, like, to take out the freshwater system, the freshwater filtration system.
Yeah.
And not to just, like, break the pipes that are connected to it, to break the actual electrical mechanism on each one of them is diabolical, because, like, you're doing that to yourself as well.
Yeah.
Like, I think there are a couple of things about this that are really smart. Like, the engineer and, like, the way he decides to, like, shut down the engines for whatever reason, but, like, they show you what he does. And then when he explains why he can't just turn it back on again and how long it will take, I just don't see that kind of stuff in movies about boats.
Yeah,
especially movies that aren't about boats.
It was really smart, the way that they did all of that. I like that the soldiers that are escorting Leffler are just the dumbest sack of rocks. Like, they are just meatheads. Even the big guy that's leading them, like, gets taken out in the simplest fucking way.
Like the dumbest way possible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, they all do. They all, like, it's so fucking funny to me that there are these, like, supposedly highly trained mercenary type special ops, all black, automatic weapons, and are completely outsmarted by this other equally trained singular person. Yet the riffraff, number one, half of them fucked off at the beginning. They were like, nope, not our circus. We're out, guys. Like, you want to stay, Captain? You want to stay? It's your boat. Your kid should come with us. He's gonna stay. Okay, fuck you guys. We're leaving.
Yeah,
I get it. And then the rest of them are just wily enough.
It's a really smart way to make the stakes more manageable without killing everyone.
Yeah.
Because you've kind of got a locked room situation where they're on a boat in the middle of the ocean. Like, they can't go anywhere. And these guys still are like, I would rather be nowhere than be on this fucking boat.
Yeah. Yeah. This boat we control. Someone will find us somewhere. Goodbye.
So there's a bunch of people that we didn't have to kill, but we no longer have to account for.
Right.
It's really smart. It's a really smart way to get rid of them. What would we rate this movie, Megan?
I think the highest I'm willing to go is a C. If we look at it from, like, a watchable movie standpoint, like, it's not good. There's a reason it's only got 39% on the tomato meter. It's not a good movie. A lot of the dialogue is very forced. A lot of the acting is very bad. I mean, the good news is that, most of those people die or leave, so it's not that big of a deal. Famke Janssen is always a treat. I absolutely love her in everything I see her in. I think Nicolas Cage did a really good job, honestly. Like, you were spot on when you said everyone was having fun with their roles, because the roles, even though they were, like, forced and awkward and not well acted or written, they were easy roles. Like, they looked comfortable wearing the skin of those characters. So, I mean, especially the captain, all he literally had to do was pretend to get bitten by a snake and then lay there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's that. But, I mean, overall, my personal grade for the movie would have been a C. What about you?
I live with a C.
What would you give the caginess of it?
I would give the caginess probably a B. He's doing his best to elevate the work. It's just only so much can be done to elevate the work.
I think that's a very fair assessment.
I think he played drunk really well. I think he plays Dick Poacher really well.
Mm-hmm.
And he seems like he's having fun in the protagonist role.
He is, because he's a morally great character in general. And we love an anti-hero here, right? And, like, how, by the end of it, he ends up changing his tune. He's gonna, send the cat to a sort of, like, preserve sort of place
Right.
Rather than selling it to someone who would probably hunt it for sport. Like, his character is actually pretty interesting. We really didn't get too far into his characters just because this movie is very action-packed. But his overall sort of backstory is that his father claimed he would never amount to anything. His father was just a mechanic. So then he went and decided that he was going to work for zoos, and he worked for, 8 zoos in 10 years?
Yeah.
Including the San Diego Zoo, and then he decided he wasn't making the kind of money that he wanted, so he's going to go and poach animals illegally and then sell them for profit instead. And this jaguar, it's going to buy him a lake house somewhere. So he's like, trying to one-up his father at the same time. He also happens to have known the doctor's father. Apparently, he used to also be in the Navy. He was an admiral, and then when he retired, he went to work at the San Diego Zoo. And, like, there's a lot of interesting overlap.
The father, not Nicolas Cage.
Not Nicolas Cage. The lieutenant's father.
Right.
Worked. And they somehow knew each other. And there's a really awkward love story that happens. And, like, you can tell when you're watching it between Dr. Ellen and Frank that, like, neither one of them really believe this, what they're acting towards each other. Like, there's one line that they repeat. It's first said by Dr. Ellen, where she said something, 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 and then it goes, well, yeah, but I make your heart beat. Like, are you flirting with him, ma'am? Now, of all times, most of you are dead or have absconded with the lifeboat, and now you're gonna flirt with him.
Yeah.
You're right before you go to be bait for a sadistic political criminal. Okay, that's fine. And then at the end, he says it back to her after he's changed his tune and, like, literally just given him free range to come for anytime booty call. And they have so much fun with it because they don't have a shit ton of romantic chemistry, and there's really not a whole lot of actual, like, romantic buildup ever. And so, like, where do you even insert this? Like, where does it even go? Other than, like, it's literally just like, oh, it must be because she's a woman and he's a man and they happen to be the biggest names in the movie.
Yeah.
But there's no actual, like, they fucking hate each other up until that one moment where you're, like, the second, third half of whatever, where he's just, like, drunk for all of it. And then, like, she's not, like, disgusted by him anymore, but she is quite still a bit off-put by, like, it's so ridiculously, wonderfully, badly awful. So, I agree with you. B is a good. Sorry, I didn't mean to go off on a tangent. It was a lot of fun. Like, it's not a good movie, but if you're only watching, like, the interactions of the few people that are, like, on the crew that are going after Loeffler, like, it's an enjoyable little hour-and-a-half romp on a ship in the sea with wild animals and exotic toxins and NSA bureaucrats that also snipe people. Like, this movie is definitely a ride. I don't know if I would recommend this because it's definitely not an A effort on anyone's part for anything, but it is fun. It is a fun movie, and I think that we both really enjoyed it way more than we thought we were going to.
Yeah. That's the highest praise that I can give it, is that this movie is a lot more entertaining than I thought it would be.
Yeah, it's bad, but it is extremely watchable. So I think that's going to be it for us, unless you had anything to add.
I don't.
All right, so if you've gotten this far, thank you so much for listening. We really appreciate you being here. Just a reminder that we are also now on YouTube. There aren't any videos of us because we don't have video capability yet, but it is just the audio. But we would absolutely appreciate if you would interact with us over there to sort of boost the algorithm. We're also still on the same socials that we've been on Instagram at Not the Bees Pod. We are also on patreon.com/notthebees. And we're still on all of our regular podcasting streams, so we're still there as well. But that's going to do it for us this week. I've been Bex.
And I've been Elizabeth.
And we'll see you next time.